When it comes to the Ugly Stepsister, it definitely acts as a reminder that all the would-be villains of these hero stories, they deserve to have their side of the story told as well, and oftentimes it might be better than what the hero says happened. So to summarize the movie, Elvira's father's dead. Her mother, Rebecca, is lacking money, so she does what she knows best in order to take care of both Elvira and her little sister, Alma, and that is to find a man with money to take care of them. She finds Otto, who comes with his own daughter in the form of Agnes, and in the beginning it seemed like this is going to be beneficial to both. However, both Otto and Rebecca thought the other person had money. Neither one did. Otto does have an estate, but it seems like he's in debt, which makes the fact that he dies on their wedding night terrible for all parties involved. Luckily, he leaves her just enough money to get by, and with learning that Prince Julius is looking for a wife, Rebecca puts all of her money, well, not all of her money, a good portion of her money into Elvira, even though Agnes is probably somebody who could probably have an easier time in order getting Prince Julian's attraction and affection. But being that Agnes is clearly not going to be loyal to Rebecca, she does her best to make sure that Elvira, who loves their family, very much loyal, will get the job done. But being that Elvira is, in her mind and in the society's vision, not the most beautiful girl, she goes through different modifications and even some self-punishment in order to become society's ideal beauty, and let's just say it leads to heartbreaking results. So getting to the review section, there's two parts to this one topic. The first part is that when it comes to Elvira, you're going to love and care for this young woman. In the movie, she's 18 years old. She clearly has insecurities and issues, be it because of things her mother might have said, the way boys might have treated her. She starts the movie off with braces, and it's heartbreaking to watch. I mean, whether it's because you as a viewer may have felt ugly at one time, maybe some of the people that you like definitely dismayed you in some form or fashion, or else you just want to root for the underdog, Elvira's going to get you in your feelings and get you invested in what she wants. And even if it's not the prince, you hope that somebody will see her for who she is and love her as she should be. But part of the thing that also makes Elvira the type of character you want to invest in is because when it comes to Agnes, who's Cinderella, yes, the evil stepsisters are the way we're used to hearing this story, but with things kind of flipped, you're reminded that when it comes to Agnes, the reason why perhaps Rebecca became the evil stepmother and these the ugly stepsisters is because Agnes eventually won. From what we're told, Prince Julian has poetry out there in various books, so who's to say that he didn't have his wife's story written up and decided to completely demolish the reputation of Rebecca and her daughters. And it's in seeing Elvira's side of the story, with Agnes being mean even before she learned that Rebecca was broke, that you kind of appreciate the fact that we're allowed to see the prince full dimensional as somebody who's a bit of a jerk, low-key probably a whore, and that if Agnes does end up getting with him, she's going to get what she deserves. But I'll even say beyond Elvira getting kind of a different perspective that allows you to see her as something more human and maybe want to give her grace, Rebecca too. You understand the desperation, and granted, this film doesn't paint the idea that maybe Rebecca came from money but ended up on hard times, or maybe her first husband really put in an effort but he ended up in debt, or maybe he was always poor and she just didn't want to live that life anymore because she has two girls to raise. Her background isn't gone into, but what is clear is that she's somebody that is willing to do what it takes besides hard labor. She does not dream of labor in order to make sure that her kids are well taken care of. And if that means having to woo and potentially sleep with either old men, young men, whoever, in order to do so, she's willing to do it. And for the times, it makes sense. I don't know if anybody would consider it appropriate, but it makes sense because being kept in those times is of potentially the utmost importance and also perhaps the easiest way to move up the social ladder. But while there's a lot that could be possibly said about the characters and their stories. I also have to admit, if you're someone who likes horror movies that are gross, got body horror and things of that nature, even if you're somebody who can watch Saw and not really be affected, this movie is the type where maybe if you're having popcorn or soda is fine. But if you decide to eat anything beyond that during this movie, I feel like your stomach's going to start to feel like how a virus is after she eats a tapeworm. It's just going to be all kinds of some messed up. But even with all that said, when it comes to The Ugly Stepsister, it definitely pushes the idea, since this is a Shudder movie, that outside of Grafted, they have a very good curated team on their roster. And this is another film that if you can catch it in theaters and it's near you and you have A-list or something like that, definitely check it out. Or else just wait till it comes up on Shudder and watch this and all the other films in their library, with the exception of Grafted, which is also a body horror, but nowhere near as good.